What's going on, guys? Love Smash, back with an all-new video for you guys today, and it is officially October 4th, meaning the deadline to vote on the Smash Bros. Fighter Ballot has passed. Yesterday was October 3rd, and we have a lot of discussing to do. Now, if you guys remember my video from last week, I asked everyone to please vote on the poll that I made on surveymonkey.com to do in today's video, and I got over 1,000 votes, so thank you to everyone who voted. So I will not only be revealing the results for that, I also wanted to give you guys my final predictions for the Fighter Ballot and DLC, and go over a few characters who I think stand a very good chance. But before we dive into all that, I need to go over a few things that we learned this week. Some of you guys may not have known this, but after somebody hacked the 1.1.1 patch, they were able to find 3 character placeholders and at least 2 stage placeholders, meaning 3 characters and 2 stages are on the way at some point. And with this, many theories have arisen. Many fans seem to think that 3 characters will be added from the Fighter Ballot, and these are their placeholders, and the stages will coincide with which characters end up getting chosen. Many fans believe that a returning veteran could be announced in a direct or announcement over the next few months, and then 2 spots will go to the Fighter Ballot. Other fans believe that 3 is not a set number, and that through a new update in the future, more placeholders could be added for characters and stages. Now, whatever the true answer is, we do not know yet, but at least we have 3 placeholders we could work from and speculate on which characters could potentially be added to the roster. So now, with all that being said, I just wanted to say a couple things about the ballot. Now, the first one I brought up in older videos, where Nintendo did a great thing by giving fans the opportunity to pick which characters they want in. It was a genius move, going straight to the source and hearing the fans out, something that really is going to go over well and has gone over well. Now, Nintendo did mess up in one way by not putting a restriction on this ballot. They only asked the people to keep it 1 vote per person, but of course people are not going to do that. I guarantee you there are people going on there every single day and voting for one specific character they wanted in, whether or not this character was a video game character or not. And by doing so, it could lead to an unfair and stacked ballot because people are voting for multiple characters and stuff. But anyway, what's done is done. Now, we do know you're able to submit any video game character you want for the ballot, and of course, they are not able to guarantee that the character will end up being in the game, but they do take all feedback into consideration. But luckily, this doesn't seem like a major issue because the decision is still going to come down to Sakurai and his team whether or not they want to add a specific character. Because the Fighter Ballot, in a way, is more of like a suggestion box rather than a presidential election, where the character that gets the most votes is going to win it. It's more of like a way Nintendo can input data, then gather all the info and look at it and say, okay, these characters scored really high. Out of these characters that scored high that the fans want, which ones should we start working on and put them in the game? For example, if it's a Nintendo-owned character, can we make this character work? Are they worthy to be in the game? Can we think of a moveset? And if it's a third-party character, you follow that same formula, and you think, can we get the license to use this character? Can we negotiate with the company to get them? So, in a way, the Fighter Ballot is not necessarily the character that gets the most votes, because for all we know, the character that got the most votes could be a non-video game character that doesn't stand a chance in hell to be included. So it's a good thing that Sakurai and the team still have final say. They can look at this data and say, okay, these characters scored high, let's go from there and see if we can make them work. And I have complete faith in Sakurai and the team that they'll make the right choices when it comes to character selection. Alright, now on to the moment all you guys have been waiting for, the results of last week's poll. For those of you guys who did not see the video or do not remember, I made a poll on surveymonkey.com and asked everyone to pick the 1 character they wanted to see in as DLC, and a week from then I would discuss the top 5 choices. Now, before we begin, I just want to say a few things. After listing over 100 characters, the poll went very good, so I just want to thank everyone who voted. There were over 1,000 votes on it. The second thing is that, of course, these results do not reflect the entire Smash Bros. Community, just the people who voted, and yet again, number 3, these are not my votes, these are the characters you guys voted for. So, without further ado, coming in at number 5, the character you guys wanted to see was Isaac from Golden Sun. Now, here's a character during the early stages of Smash Bros. Speculation a lot of fans really think was going to be added to the roster. Unfortunately, that did not happen, but there is a silver lining to that because he did not appear as an assist trophy in Smash for 3DS and Wii U, meaning he's fair game to be part of the ballot and has a chance to be a playable character. Now, here's a sword wielder who is very unique because he could use many Psi energy attacks and they could think of a very creative moveset for him. Now, of course, Robin is a sword wielder as well, could use many magic attacks, but I think there's a lot more they could do with Isaac with all the things they could do in the Golden Sun series, which would make him a force to be reckoned with. So it really doesn't surprise me that he made it on this list. Now, speaking of the Golden Sun franchise, there have been 3 games in total, all have sold and been received very well, but it's been surprising there hasn't been any representation in any of the Smash Bros. Games in terms of a playable character. And with a lot of backers behind Isaac and a very unique moveset to boot, I think he stands a very good shot to be included as DLC, so it does not surprise me he made it on the top 5 of this list. Now on to pick number 4, with Shantae, one of 2 indie characters that the fans have really been pushing besides Shovel Knight. Now, a lot of people see Shantae as a better fit than Shovel Knight because not only does she have a longer history with Nintendo, her first game appearing on the Game Boy Color and was published by Capcom, she's appeared in more games as well. Not to mention her company, WayForward, has been pushing her extremely hard, like really, really hard, though, more than Yakup Games has been pushing Shovel Knight. And WayForward is really thirsty. They really want Shantae in Smash Bros. They're like a dude at a bar, and Smash Bros is the hot girl, and they just want to get all up in that. Now, as far as indie characters go, Shantae may have more credibility than Shovel Knight, but when it comes to third-party characters, this is where many fans differ. Now, me personally, I harbor no resentment or hatred for Shantae. I think she's a very cool character. I think she'd have a moveset that translates very well into Smash Bros. But when I look at third-party characters, I look at the ones we have now: Sonic, Pac-Man, Mega Man, Ryu, and we had Snake. These characters are icons of gaming. They're from huge franchises, big gaming companies, and they made a real big name for themselves in the gaming community. So when I think of third-party characters that are worthy for Smash Bros., those are the ones who I think of. Characters that can either rival them or at least come close to matching them in popularity and iconicness. Now, Shantae I do not feel is on a level of that, but yet again, as we know, the ballot is coming down to fan service. So you never know, maybe Sakurai and the team will look at Shantae and say, okay, here's a character that fans really seem to want in, and let's add an indie character to represent our relationship with indie developers, and they'll include her. Now, I do still feel there are other third-party characters that I would much rather see than Shantae, but if she was to be included, I would have no problems with it. I know she got a lot of fans and supporters out there. Yet again, no offense to any of you Shantae fans out there, I do not hate her. I just feel there are better options when it comes to third-party characters that I would much rather see, but no doubt a very intriguing and very interesting pick there, and she would be a very unique presence in the game as well. Now moving on to pick number 3 with another third-party character you guys wanted to see, and that was Banjo-Kazooie. Now, we all know the history Banjo and Kazooie have with Nintendo. Unfortunately, Rare being owned by Microsoft really puts a damper on the festivities here, but it is still possible for Banjo and Kazooie to be included, although it is a very slim chance. Now, Phil Spencer, who is the head of Xbox, has made 2 different tweets on 2 separate occasions claiming that it would be cool to see Banjo back on Nintendo's platform, and that they have worked with Nintendo on Rare IP before, and there haven't been any issues. Now, of course, this is nowhere near a confirmation that Banjo-Kazooie will be added as DLC, but it is a chance nonetheless. Now, if by some miracle Nintendo and Microsoft were able to work out a deal, even though it's very slim, it would blow people away. To finally have Banjo back on a Nintendo console, many people highly regard Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie as some of the best platformers of all time. The long history with Nintendo, people are dying for this. Something they've been dreaming about ever since Melee, wanting Banjo-Kazooie in. Now, of course, there is a huge obstacle to go to make this deal happen, because Microsoft being a rival gaming company and Nintendo, you gotta figure, what do they get out of that? Free publicity for their company? What does Nintendo get? They get to have one of their old characters that the fans love and really want back on their console, even if it's just a one-shot deal. Whatever the future holds, we have no idea, but no doubt Banjo and Kazooie would be downright awesome in Smash Bros. Now moving on to pick number 2, you guys wanted to see King K. Rool, which is not surprising at all. Even though a lot of people seem to think K. Rool is deconfirmed because he has a Mii costume, that doesn't necessarily deconfirm him. I did a whole video actually discussing this issue. If you guys have not seen it, I will drop a link in the comments and description. I'm not going to go over the things again because I made a whole video dedicated to it of my reasoning, but I wanted to bring up a very interesting and clever theory the fans have come up with. I read this on one of the comments of my recent videos, where somebody mentioned how in the original Donkey Kong Country, when you fight King K. Rool and you knock him out, you think you beat him. The credits start rolling, and then it says "The End" with a question mark, and then all of a sudden King K. Rool comes back to life, and you gotta take him down one last time. So somebody compared that to the situation with King K. Rool having a Mii costume, where a lot of people seem to think the Mii costume has deconfirmed him, but lo and behold, maybe Sakurai is trolling, and King K. Rool will be added as a playable character as DLC, which a lot of people have been requesting him ever since the Melee days. It's surprising that he wouldn't be included, so I still think he stands a very good shot here. The fans have been pushing for a new Donkey Kong rep, another villain, and another heavyweight character, and he would fill all 3 of those categories. Now moving on to pick number 1, you guys voted for Rayman. He's the character you guys most want to see added to the roster in Smash 4. Now, we all know Rayman has been highly requested going before Artsy Omni's fake Rayman leak, even before the whole Nintendo of Canada slip-up where a lot of people thought he may have been accidentally leaked, but it just turned out he was referring to his trophy. But no doubt, still a very highly requested and very sought-after and desirable character for Smash 4 as DLC and a third-party character representative. No doubt a character that would fit extremely well in the Smash Bros. Series. He seems to fit that zany, cartoony look, got a moveset that's practically written for him, from a big gaming company with Ubisoft, Ubisoft and a big franchise as well, sold over 25 million in sales, 40 million if you even count the Rabbids spin-offs in there as well, not to mention the trophies. Yet again, still no explanation of why they're in the game to begin with. Many fans have speculated it's for Rayman Legends. It was supposed to be a Wii U exclusive, but then as we know, it did not turn out to be. Maybe it's a thing to show like Nintendo and Ubisoft are on good terms. It could be any reasoning fans have come up with, but no doubt Rayman has been a very highly requested character and the fans really want to see him in, so it doesn't shock me he ended up taking the top spot here. Now, Rayman, in being terms of iconic or a memorable or worthy character for Smash, has differed from fan to fan. Many fans think so, other fans do not. Now, of course, he may not be as recognizable to the public as Pac-Man or Sonic would be in terms of third-party characters, but 25 million in sales for a series is no easy feat, and also being the mascot of Ubisoft, being a very big gaming company, and also having the trophies in the game, him appearing in Smash Bros. In some capacity with that, definitely gives him an edge over any other third-party character. At least in my opinion, it does. And I mean, Ubisoft actually sent Nintendo the 3D models, so it seems like they're cool with having the trophies in the game, so Rayman gets enough votes, Sakurai may consider him and say, hey, they're cool with him being a trophy, maybe they'll be cool with him being a playable character as well. Yet again, not a confirmation he'll be in the game, but I definitely think Rayman stands the best chance of any third-party character, at least in my opinion. But, like I said, people vary from differences on third-party characters, and we'll have to wait and see what the future holds. In terms of DLC and the Smash Bros. Fighter Ballot results, now we could get the results at any time. It could be a few weeks, it could be a few months, it could take a year. As we know, it does take a long time to develop a character, and especially if they're starting from scratch, we probably won't see the character released until sometime next year in 2016. Now, as for the results, Nintendo could announce them early, but that would probably take away the surprise factor, so who knows when we can actually get the result, but it is going to be very exciting leading up to that point. Now, I wanted to bring up something else in this video. I wanted to talk about my personal picks for DLC. So, like I said, everyone has their own different interpretations of what characters they want to see or think will be included. These are just mine. And of course, just because I do not include a character on my list of predictions does not mean I hate the character or harbor any resentment for them. These are just the ones I feel the most confident in. Now, as we know, Sakurai has stated they can't keep doing DLC forever, and the team is much smaller. We know they're doing other stuff besides characters, stages, tweaks to the balancing, Mii costumes, so on and so forth. Now, going back to the whole thing where the recent hack where they found the 3 character placeholders, if there really are going to be 3 characters only and there's not going to be another patch adding more placeholders for more characters, I think it would come down to 3 out of these 6 characters right here. That is, like I said, if there really are only going to be 3. With King K. Rool, Rayman, Isaac, Banjo-Kazooie, Wolf, and Crystal, those are the ones I feel the most confident in, and if it really is going to be 3, I think it'll come down to 3 of them. Now, with that, I wanted to say a few things about my choices. Now, of course, with third-party characters, you can see Rayman and Banjo-Kazooie there. I definitely think we'll end up getting 1 as DLC. 2 maybe pushing it, and I said this many times when it comes to DLC, we have 4 characters already in the game. Sakurai stated many times there's a lot of hoops to jump through to get a third-party character. You can't just say, okay, we want to include this character, you have to negotiate with the company. It needs to be a special situation. Because a few people out there seem to think that all the characters that are going to come from the ballot as DLC are going to be all third-party characters. But we got to remember there are a lot of Nintendo-owned characters that fans have been waiting for years that really do deserve a chance, so remember to keep that in mind. Now, besides Banjo-Kazooie and Rayman as third-party picks, also got King K. Rool and Isaac on there. I feel very confident in them too. And finally, with Wolf and Crystal. So let's talk about Wolf first, the character so many people want to see return. Now, personally, I'm not a huge supporter of Wolf. I would much rather have another newcomer come from the ballot rather than a returning veteran who's been in the game before, but I know a lot of people do want to see Wolf back, and I know a lot of people are voting for him. So with that being said, a lot of people seem to think that Wolf's chances only can come down to the ballot now. Ever since Sakurai did that interview when Ryu and Roy were revealed, he stated that they were planned before the ballot was intact, and he said the rest of the roster was going to come down to fan service. So a lot of people took that as there's not going to be any more directs or any kind of announcements from now until the ballot is done, and those characters that are going to be DLC are only going to come from the ballot results only. So a lot of people seem to think that Wolf's chance is diminished, but a lot of people still are voting for Wolf, which gives him a chance. Now, like I said, much rather would have another newcomer, but Wolf is one of the choices I would put very high since I know a lot of people are voting for him and do want to see a return. I mean, I've been seeing Free Wolf all over Twitter and YouTube and comments on my videos, so it would not shock me if they ended up making it. Now, with the whole thing about being added from the ballot, can we really trust Sakurai's words that there's not going to be any more announcements or any kind of directs coming up where they're going to reveal a character? I wouldn't think so, because as we know, Sakurai changes his mind, he trolls, so on and so forth, so it's very possible we could see an announcement and Wolf may not be part of the ballot, but for the time being, we'll just have to wait and see. But I really do hope there is a direct or some kind of announcement and Wolf is not part of the ballot, because I would much rather see another newcomer from the ballot rather than a returning veteran. Now moving on to my last and final pick with Crystal, a character many fans have been requesting ever since Brawl. She had to be one of the most highly requested newcomers that didn't make it in, that fans were requesting ever since those days. Fan hype only grew when Smash 4 came out, and yet again she was not included. And she would no doubt be a character that would be very unique, and a lot of people do criticize the Star Fox reps all having a similar moveset, but Crystal has a lot they could do there, like for example give her a staff weapon, they can give her guns, grenades, her final smash could be something like riding in on the giant pterodactyl from Star Fox Adventure. Another idea for final smash could be like she gets in the R-wing and fires and shoots at you from off screen. Just throwing out a few ideas here, but Crystal is no doubt a character that has a huge fan base that really wants to see her in, that has been thriving over the past few years. So it wouldn't surprise me if she ended up scoring very high on the ballot. Now, like I said, whether she's included or not, that comes down to the team and the voting, but no doubt another viable option for a character, especially if they wanted to add another Star Fox rep and not have Wolf return. But like I said, these are just my predictions. These are the 6 that I feel the most comfortable with. Now, if I was going to narrow down the ones I see as the most likely, I would definitely have to put King K. Rool and Rayman at the top. Now, as for that 3rd spot, if it really is going to only be 3 more characters, to be honest, it's a very, very tough call. So I'm going to have to leave that spot open and be a mystery for any of those 4 to jump in. But yet again, just my prediction, my interpretation. You guys can think anything you want, and you guys have your own things, which I want to hear about in the comments. So be sure to tell me what you guys think of my choices, what you guys think of the top 5. Tell me what characters you guys want to see as DLC. Anything you want to mention, please feel free to. And I just want to apologize because I meant to have this video out yesterday for you guys. Unfortunately, I did not have the time to finish it, so I figured I would finish today. So I hope it was worth the wait, and sorry for the inconvenience. But anyway guys, that is the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and like always, if you want the latest fighting game news and speculation, be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon with a brand new video.